Hey, cornbread review off the bat, bro. You might not like my review then, man. Yeah, so all in all, man, I ended up coming up 2.5 out of 5. Two of them things. Yo. 5 out of 5 cornbreads for the cornbread review. What you think?
Yo, welcome back for another Cornbread movie review. I've been telling y'all I'm gonna keep doing TV series too. I know y'all come to see me for the movies. I'm dropping those every week. But so a little birdie texted me a couple weeks ago and said, "Hey man, you hear about this Bill Cosby stuff?" And I'm like, "No, please tell me more." He said, "Hey man, there's a doc coming out on him, and we have to address it, man." So welcome back, friend of the show, Trey. What up, baby?
How you doing, Cornbread? Just chilling, man. Thanks for having me back again.
No problem, man. Everything good? Family good?
Everything is good, man. Family's good. Everybody's good, healthy, still making it through,
Okay. So as I said, man, we have to talk about this. This show is a 4-part series documentary. I don't even know what it is, really. It's so blasphemous. We got to break it down in each episode. So each episode we'll be back and we'll discuss that, man. So today we're talking about the first episode of We Need to Talk About Cosby. Now, some housekeeping rules. This show is on Showtime. I seen it on Hulu, though. So Hulu has it. They have all 4 episodes. Even though they're out there, we still going to break down each episode, man. So we got it for you. It's TVMA. So be careful who you watch this with. Don't have the little kiddos running around, especially females.
No, don't have no kids.
Don't have them running around watching this, man. And the first episode is about 56 minutes. So, an hour. It ain't too crazy, man. So this episode, or at least for sure, this documentary, right, is narrated by W. Kamal Bell, man. So kudos to him. He's another comedian. So I know doing this documentary pains him, to find out more about what's going on with Bill Cosby. So we'll kick it off, man. The first question of the documentary was, who is Bill Cosby now? So I want to ask you, who was Bill Cosby to you? When we grew up, we 80s babies, man. We millennials. So who did you see Bill Cosby as?
Man, so when I first saw Bill Cosby, I think it was obviously the Cosby Show, but also like getting into movies because you know me, like when we were growing up and stuff, that's all we talked about was movies and stuff, movies. But one of his first movies that I really loved was that Ghost Dad.
Right.
So I really always watched Ghost Dad, and it was Bill Cosby, Ghost Dad. So it was from the movies, then a TV show, and then towards like the 90s when we started getting like middle school or something like that, he was just always talking about the rappers and his the favorite rappers that I had, and then just different other people in there, and just like kind of talking down on him. So I'm like, dang, that's messed up. So, but I liked him as an actor. Didn't really hear too much of his comedy stuff other than on the TV because I wasn't watching comedy that much, or I don't think he was doing it that much as he was doing, or as much as he was doing in the beginning. So I really got introduced to him from his TV show, and then that movie Ghost Dad, which was still one of the top one for me.
Yeah, for me, man, he really didn't do it for me. He was just like a person that you just kind of knew that was famous, right? At least for me.
Right.
Especially people, I hear my grandmother, even my mom, they would be like, "No, man, this Fat Albert. No, this is, the Pudding Pop Man. No, he's a comic. No, he's an actor." And I'm like, man, he done a lot, but he don't move me though. Like you said, we grew up in the era where we got Dave Chappelle as for our comic, right? Or we had Martin or Fresh Prince. All this is all 90s stuff that we're growing up into. So I really didn't watch the Cosby Show. My father figures, if you have to stick it just to TV shows, was Uncle Phil, was Carl Winslow. You know what I'm saying? So those are a couple characters that I'm like, if that was a father figure who I would want to be when I grow up, was them. I never felt that connection with Bill Cosby. And then, like you said, he started talking bad-mouthing rappers and all this other stuff. I'm like, all right, well, this dude's crazy, man. And he's older at the time, so it is what it is.
And they put out some Fat Albert clothes. I didn't know he did Fat Albert until the clotheslines came out, and they were like, "Yeah, that's Cosby's clothes, or that's Cosby's commercial or comedy or cartoon or what have you."
Yep. Even the movie came out. I think with what's his name, Thompson or whatever. One of the
Kenan Thompson.
Kenan Thompson. Yeah. So I think I appreciate this first episode, and I'll tell you guys, Kenan Thompson, right? I appreciate this first episode because it gave me the insight on who he was. all we hear is negative stuff, which we're going to get into the shits. We're going to get into all that. But at least knowing that, no, this dude started in 1963, bro. And I'm like, well, of course, you know what I'm saying? Like, of course I wouldn't know who this individual was, starting with comedy. And a couple of his jokes were okay, funny, but a couple of them didn't age well, and we'll get into those. But I really want to commend him, Bill Cosby, and Dick Gregory, who really broke down the barriers of the color barrier, right? Of going into the mainstream of, I know this is an all-white world, but at least more white people are accepting us, and we're invited to certain areas that, let's say, our grandparents couldn't get into, right? So that's, I think, overlooked because of all the negative, which we'll get into that, but I really want to commend them, too, for getting into that. What you think about I Spy or his comedy or anything like that?
I Spy, I had heard of it before. It was all right. But I feel like all them old movies and stuff were kind of goofy. Kind of TV shows were like just kind of goofy, and that's just because I was in the era of a lot of special effects,
right,
a lot of just more action and stuff like that. So I Spy looked like, hey, it was what it was. It was just a 60s, 70s hit or what have you. They said he played the driver, so of course he was the driver. Just the way they kind of typecasted a little bit of the black actor, but also that he was a part of the spy, or he was a spy alongside with him.
Right.
So that was pretty cool to know. I kind of, and to go back a little bit on that, the Dick Gregory, I had watched a documentary on Dick Gregory before. I didn't know he was that instrumental and one of the first like comedians to ever be accepted into the quote unquote white world or what have you. So that was really interesting to kind of see their kind of chemistry and how they played on each other and how they helped one another or went against one another. But his TV shows were just like, to me. Again, that's something back in the 60s or 70s that might have been nice, but I liked more of his movies than I would say his TV show. It wouldn't be a show that I would watch. I Spy wouldn't have done it.
So to the viewers out there, I Spy was more like a James Bond kind of TV series. You know what I'm saying? Like a Miami Vice or something. I'm trying to think of current movies or shows now, kind of like Bad Boys, right? But it's black and white. And then they're spies and they would go, solve crimes and things like that. So he played that character. And that's what kind of put him on the map. Obviously, the comedy dropping albums every year. He was working, man. He was dropping albums every year, man, and putting hot TV shows. One thing that he also gets kudos for too is the stuntman, which I didn't even think about or know. So if you guys seen the first episode, you know what I'm about to say. If not, I'll educate you on that. So the stuntman, they used to have either males playing females, putting on wigs, or if it was black, it'll have a white male do blackface, black arm, black everything, and then they'll do the same stunt as the leading black male, right? So Bill Cosby was like, "No, bro." He was like, "We gotta do something strange. We gotta do something different on that." So I guess he went to a local, like they were filming some other show, and he's like, "Hey, that guy kind of looked like me, or he does stunts. Bring him over."
The Gomer Powell show.
Right. So it was like, "Hey, that guy right there, he's gonna be my stunt man," and the rest is history. So that's another thing that I think we, especially being Black History Month, little things like that is great to know because we didn't see that growing up. In the 60s, how rough it was in the 60s and 70s. We get kind of the tailor-made thing of, no, we black, if we good for the role, we got it. But no, those people have to fight more for it. So kudos to him stepping up and putting out the stuntman. So now we finna get to the shits, bro. You ready, bro?
Bill, man, Bill. And it's so funny because, we finna talk, but it's so funny. Like, I remember... Even when we were shorties, man. Like I remember, like in middle school, we'd be over there, Jello pudding pop,
pudding pop, yeah.
Like just, but yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. It was a joke until it was a joke. Like it ain't funny no more, bro. It's not funny. So let's talk about this thing that I heard about, but I'm not going to do more research on it. You know what I'm saying? Because it is what it is. But in this, it breaks it down. And he talked about this in this comedy, which is actually sick in the 60s and 70s. These jokes did not age well. And what I'm talking about is Spanish Fly. Would you like to kind of break down what Spanish Fly is or what? It's still crazy to me.
So what I take from it is, and this is kind of sensitive to my heart because, you know, some things happened with one of my close cousins not too long ago in Arizona. Okay. And this stuff is real, man. It's not a joke. But in Arizona, they did like some Visine or whatever and put it in her drink. Okay. So that's what I was thinking of. I've heard of the little GHB and like the date rape drugs or whatever, but this is some stuff that they were actually selling on
like
in
TV,
America,
like TV and stuff.
Right. There was ads for it, but I guess it's, I don't know what's the guys talked about. It's like a hallucinogen that gives you receptors of yourself being kind of, it gives you a fake sense of being aroused, right?
Right.
But you put it in the lady's drink or somebody's drink that you want them to get all loose or whatever. So, and it just blew my mind that he was really talking about this on Larry Cream Live, and even in his jokes or in his joke album or what have you.
Stand-ups, yeah.
It's true, or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, and he would just talk about putting it in there. And then what did he say to Larry King Live?
He said, hey, what did he say? Like he put it in that drink and he said, "Good morning, America," or something like that. I forgot what he said.
Put it on. He said, put
a cap full, pin full cap. Put
like,
it in.
This is Bill Cosby. Like,
so the thing that I don't get is, number one, obviously people are letting this ride or thinking it's a joke, right? Because maybe that was the culture back then. So maybe it was a joke, even though he wasn't joking, but people saw it as, oh man, get out of here, right? You know, if you did that, cool, but you Bill Cosby, you don't need to do that, right? You can get all these ladies, even though he was married and had a kid and everything. So the doctor said it gives kind of the female, like you said, like a burning sensation,
but it tricks your mind to be aroused.
But does that work for males too, though? That's what I didn't get that answer for. Because I'm like, what if a guy drinks this or whatever, takes this? What does it do for the guy?
I do think it is for both. It gets you for both of them. But I think most men are just like
they ready to go anyway.
On it.
Yeah.
right. Honestly, I think it's most men. And one thing that you said, like, is it the culture, right? Is it the culture around there? And this is what 60s, 70s Hollywood. Like they said before, like if you weren't a womanizer, they'd be like, oh, you're a homosexual or something, or
right.
Like, why aren't you trying to smack that girl's butt or something like that? Mm-hmm. And I get it to the I don't get it because I don't know how to do that, but it's just weird that people were doing that, the drugging, but also the degrading and like belittling like women and stuff like that, and they're just turning a blind eye to.
Well, even we gonna get into Hugh Hefner too. This was when the Playboy Mansion, all that stuff started, right? This is hand in hand. Mm-hmm. Them two were together doing this stuff, and we gonna get into you too, bro. We gonna get like Bill Cosby and Hugh Hef. We got to talk about Hugh Hef. He is not exempt from that, from us talking about him. You know, so like you said, that was kind of if men got invited to the Playboy Mansion, they knew what was gonna happen. If women got invited to the mansion, they knew what was going to happen or they had to leave, right? So, like, that was more of a cultural thing, which is sad, man, and people going through it.
It is.
I know.
I think we're playing like catch-up. I feel like we're playing catch-up and trying to be like, oh, well, this person got it, which is, we should be, but, you know, it kind of mirrors the same as minority-like relation, or minority-like situations as well with, like, black relations to America. Like, we're trying to play catch up from all this bad stuff. But again, just like slavery and segregation, we still got people that was living through it that are alive right now. You know what I'm saying? So that's what all this kind of put into my head, or I was thinking about when they were telling me about this.
Right. And it's sad, man. I mean, because to me, you know, I didn't talk to my grandma about this, but I want to know who Bill Cosby was to her. You know, because if this was an idol, if this was somebody, one of her peers or whoever it is, you know, that's somebody that she's like, man, I'm proud of him. It's a black man on TV that I get to watch every week doing his thing, but yet behind the scenes, he doing all this bad stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? So if y'all got people out there, if y'all got the opportunity, talk to our elders and kind of get their take on it, because they lived through it, right? Like you said, we're watching a documentary, but that's different from you watching it as a kid. They can remember where they at. You know what I'm saying? Maybe some people met Bill Cosby.
And I wonder if this like came out, or was it because we got social media. Shit, you spit on the ground, mugs be like, oh, cornbread spit on the ground. Like, dang, spit ain't even hit the ground yet.
Yeah, facts.
So I wonder if this was like hearsay, and a lot of hearsay. You know what I'm saying? Like back in the day, it's like telephone, man. You can believe some of what it's saying because you didn't heard it from 8, 9, 10 people. Right. It's gonna get switched up somehow. So that's one of my things. I wonder, and I hope Kamal goes into it. It's like, I wonder how much of it was saying, other than just like the inner circles of the victims themselves.
Absolutely. So speaking of victims, I want to talk about the last story of the episode. I don't want to say names on here, even when we do the rest of the episodes, because I don't want to, first off, I don't want to disrespect the people who put their self out there, their story out there. And I do not want to not talk about somebody and act like their story is diminished or less than the person I did talk about, right? So that's how at least I feel. So I definitely want to talk about the grandmother on there. When she told the story kind of from start to finish, heartbreaking. It was so detailed. You know when people have too much detail, you be like, this is crazy. Like did that really happen? Because it's like, I mean, you really going into it, and if any part of this is true, get him out of here, pack him up. So I want you guys to watch the episode. She tells it obviously way better detail, but she lost her son who drowned, so she was mourning for like a week or two. One of her friends said, "Hey, come out with me. You having a bad time? We'll go get some drinks." They go have drinks. Bill Cosby's there. Bill Cosby's talking to her friend. The person the grandmother the story we're talking about is mourning, so she ain't trying to hear none of that shit, bro. She ain't laughing at none of his jokes. She don't care about none of that, bro. She like, man, when we eating and going home, bro. Going home. It was a roommate. So apparently, Bill Cosby was like, hey, well, take this, it'll make you feel better. She was like, all right, well, I hope so. And I guess he slipped. She didn't detail if the friend took one or if what'd you say?
Yeah, so she was like, he put it next to my drink and said, take this. Right. And then put the one next to the friend drink and took this and was like, we'll all be in.
Oh, he faked like he took it, right?
Right. And then his butt went like this, like the classic. But yeah, like.
Well, you throw a drink, you.
Like, hey, shots up, Yeah. But before we get into it though more, but like I was telling you before, like on that Aaron Burnett, she was like, oh, he put it in my drink. Mm-hmm. But then on this one, she said it on there. So I don't know if she wanted for dramatic effect. Obviously, I'm not trying to like victim shame or anything like that. But some of those things is why some people get off and some people don't face anything because. And again, it was probably quite a long time.
Yeah, this probably like 50 years ago or something crazy.
Correct.
Like that.
To remember all that. But I just want to say, like, hopefully, like, people don't bring, like, not true stuff to just make it a larger thing. So that was the only thing I was just kind of, And then, like you said, she did put in the dramatic effect. I understand that she lost her son and stuff like that, but she made it seem like, and, she was there, I wasn't. Made it feel like he knew that. He's like, oh, bet, I'm going to take advantage of it. She's already, in that mindset, and I can just take advantage of her, so.
Right. It's at this point, it's like, it's so much truth, you don't need extra lies on it, right? Like, the truth is going to sell itself. So, so apparently they start taking it, and they start, falling out. And so he was like, hey, y'all need a ride? I'll take y'all. And he obviously didn't take them to their house. So he took them to his house, showed them around. They all passed out. And the friend said when she tried to wake up, she couldn't talk. She couldn't move. She couldn't talk. And she said that Bill Cosby was standing over her friend with this look like a lion on a stake. And apparently, what'd you say?
Just looking and then hold his hands like.
Right. And apparently she was messing up his vibe. So he focused on her, unfortunately, and did his thing and then said, this is way before Uber, get a taxi and go home, man. So I
wonder whose house it was.
I think did he say it was his house? Because he was showing her like different.
But he left and he said that she was going to show her some trophies, but she was like, trophies. When that door opened, it wasn't no trophies.
Right. I don't know.
I don't know. That's one thing, but also like to put in your head those images of Bill Cosby like forcing himself on a woman, dude. Like it's just like, wow.
And not even forcing himself, drugging them and then forcing himself. You know what I'm saying? Like this is banana. Like, but if he's been doing that for 10 years, like I said, it became natural to him. To him, that was his normal. So I don't know, man. This it was very hard to watch the first episode. So we got 3 more to go. But please let us know what you think about the first episode. If you already watched the series, obviously don't give us some spoilers. We'll talk about it. But like I said, the show we need to talk about Cosby. And after that, we got to talk about Hugh Hefner too, because I think he was doing the same or worse or whatever. I think these people need to be ousted if these things are true. I don't understand if it's 100 people out there, but if you did one, it's a wrap to me. I don't care about that.
I mean, what your parents used to tell you? Everybody ain't lying. Bro.
Yeah, everybody,
like,
bro. What?
Everybody ain't lying.
And they don't know each other? Come on, man.
Right. Everybody ain't lying on you. Like, everybody used to get in trouble at school. All the teachers ain't lying on you, bro.
Right. That's a fact, man. So,
like,
anything else you want to cover on the first episode?
Man, I'm just, like I said, like I'm just watching intently. This is something that I really wanted to like see what extent it was and see. Come on, Bill. Like, Jeez, bud. Like, and that first part, it's just like when he was talking bad about rappers and stuff like that. Like, oh, I'm like you're thugging, you're doing this and that, and it's like, this is what I grew up in. I'm rapping, and I try to get out, or I got out, but you're over here doing one of the most inhumane things in the world to somebody and putting on the front. So. Just that's the only thing that I'm thinking about when I'm watching the show, because especially documentaries, I like to just think about what that main question or what that main thesis was, and then just kind of carry that throughout the show to just go back and think like, okay, how do I know him, or what did I know of this thing before, person, place, or thing before, and then how is it changing throughout the documentary?
Okay. All right. So I'm excited too, man. So we'll see y'all next week for episode 2. Trey, please let the people know how they can reach you, man.
At Urbana Ghost on Instagram, and that's where it's at. Got to give a shout out to the Black History Month. More than a month. It's a movement.
That's a fact.
I think it was. I don't think it was a accident that it was gotten put out at this time too, like right before Black History and all that stuff too, because I think in the next episode they're going to talk about what he's done for the Black history, Black movement and stuff, because I think it gets right past 68, 69 and stuff like that. So
and that's what I'm saying. We telling stories of the beginning of what him becoming popular. So
one thing too though, and I'll cut it off there, is just that when they were saying that Bill Cosby kind of stayed out the way, you know what I'm saying? Like with the whole movement during the time, he was coming up and famous. He kind of just stayed out the way. And that's going to play a part too, I feel like, because he wasn't the step and fetch it guy, but like they said, they felt more comfortable having him. It's like when you're in a room full of like white dudes or something like that, and sometimes they tell a Black joke, you're like, hey, it's just Preston, or it's just him. He gets it. Right. And if it was Dick Gregory, he'd punch a person in his face. Fact. So, and that was a very, very kind of eye-opening thing that they told us too. And I feel like a lot how they put this out, and it's getting a little ahead, but a lot how they put this out on Bill and all the lawsuits and all the claims came out on him. I think that's going to play a part too, because he thought he was all good until he was trying to further himself and be at the seat at the table.
Right. Yeah. He thought it. And I know what you're talking about, because we know what happened, obviously, right? But
correct.
This documentary is going into the details. So we'll be back again with episode 2, man. So thank y'all for watching. Bill, come on, bro.
Hey, Bill, man. We'll see you next week.
Come on,
Bill.
Man. We got to do better, man. But I appreciate you, Trey, for coming on, man. Thank y'all for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe to the channel, man. I'm going to be back again next week. Make sure you like, subscribe. Peace.